Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. On this video, we're going to look at the UWF, the Universal Wrestling Federation, and Herb Abrams. Jack, let's pick up his story.
Herbert Charles Abrams was born on July 9th, 1955, in Queens, New York, the oldest son of Sonia and Abram Abrams. His father, Abram, was a contract salesman of women's dresses who employed 42 workers at his Manhattan office as of 1949. He attended William Cullen Bryant High School in Long Island, New York. In 1976, Abrams approached photographer Bill Apter while he was shooting superstar Billy Graham on the streets of New York City. He told Apter to spread word that any wrestlers who made an appearance at his father's clothing store in Flushing, Queens, would be allowed to take dresses for their wives as compensation. Abrams moved to Los Angeles and started his first business, Network 9 Limited, in 1983. Abrams later started a chain of plus-size clothing for women called I'm a Big Girl Now in 1988. Abrams was married in 1989, and his father died that same year at the age of 64.
Right, Herb Abrams founded the UWF in 1990 to try to challenge Vince McMahon's World Wrestling Federation on a national level. He announced the promotion formation at John Azari's, is that right, Brent? Wrestling Fans Fantasy Weekend Convention in August of 1990. Abrams was asked how he expected to succeed in the wrestling business with no prior experience in it. Abrams responded, "What are they looking for? I have, and what they're looking for, I have, and that's Hollywood glitz." Despite having no experience in the wrestling business, Abrams was given a budget of $1 million by the Sports Channel America to develop a weekly television series which would become UWF Fury Hour. The first Fury Hour tapings were held at the Reseda Country Club in fall of 1990 and featured established stars such as Billy Jack Haynes, Bob Orton Jr., Brian Blair, Cactus Jack, Colonel De Beers, Dan Spivey, David Sammartino, Don Morocco, Ivan Koloff, Ken Patera, Paul Orndorff, and Steve Williams. The top homegrown talent, including the Wild Thing, Steve Ray, and the Cutie Pie, Louis Spicolli, Bruno Sammartino, and Lou Albano were also hired as commentators.
Wow. What a list of wrestlers on that.
That was a great list.
You'd think the shows would be good.
You would think so. The Fury Hour is the company's weekly television show that aired on Monday nights on Sports Channel America from 1990 to 1991. It was taped at various locations, including the Reseda Country. Is that how you say that? Reseda Country Club, New York Penta, Universal Studios Florida, and World Memorial Auditorium. It was briefly revived as the Thunder Hour in 1992 on Prime Ticket, with episodes taped at the Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium. That fall, the venue's owners would later sue Abrams for money owed. Abrams soon gained a reputation for chronically failing to pay venue owners and even his own wrestlers. As the UWF's head booker, Abrams was often criticized for the promotion's inconsistent storylines and matches that lacked clean-cut finishes. For the first 11 episodes of the Fury Hour, he was an on-screen commentator alongside Bruno Sammartino, for which the readers of the Wrestling Observer newsletter voted him worst television announcer of 1990.
Prior to earning that dubious distinction, Abrams had used an enhancement talent on Fury Hour named Davey Meltzer, an obvious jab at journalist Dave Meltzer, the Wrestling Observer newsletter editor-in-chief and publisher. Abrams was replaced on commentary by Craig DeGeorge, but stayed on screen as an interviewer. The promotion held a taping in New York City at the New York Penta in January 1991 that became plagued with legal issues. The World Wrestling Federation sent a cease and desist orders to the UWF after Honky Tonk Man and Rick Rude both appeared on camera. Both had recently walked out of the WWF, but were still under contract to the company. Honky Tonk Man would later explain that the check he received from Abrams for this taping bounced, and he filed a formal complaint with the New York State Athletic Commission to get reimbursed.
Abrams hired Howard Brody, the owner of the Ladies Major League Wrestling, to help him expand UWF into Florida markets in mid 1991. Following several house shows and a television taping, Universal Studios Florida, Brody was entrusted with finding a venue for the promotion's first pay-per-view event in June of 1991. Brody suggested the Odeum. I hope that's right. Expo Center in Chicago. Abrams insists on holding Beach Brawl at the Manatee Civic Center in Palomino, Florida. The pay-per-view was a disaster in both attendance and pay-per-view buys. Following Beach Brawl, Abrams ran one final television taping at the Royal Memorial Auditorium before running out of fresh footage for the Fury Hour. He struck a deal with Brody to use footage from the Ladies Major League Wrestling to fulfill his content creation obligation with Sports Channel America, and the two parted ways in fall of 1991.
Oh, Beach Brawl was the only pay-per-view in the event's company history. I wonder why. The event was headlined by a match between Steve Williams and Bam Bam Bigelow, which was the final round match of a 16-man tournament for the crowning of the first UWF Sports Channel television champion. Williams defeated Bigelow to become the first Sports Channel television champion. The event was an overall failure with a low buy rate of a 0.1 and a crowd of attendance of 500. Let me ask y'all this question. He just not advertised these events.
Or maybe he did.
Well, if your TV is lackluster, and that's the first thing people see of you, they declare that you're a rinky-dink off the bat, they don't come and see you.
Abrams only ran 3 more shows after his Sports Channel America deal expired in late 1991. This included television taping at Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium in June of 1992 that aired on Prime Ticket as Thunder Hour, a television taping at All Seasons Arena as part of the North Dakota State Fair in July 1993, which never aired, and Blackjack Brawl, one of his greatest accomplishments, at the Las Vegas MGM Grand Gardner Arena in September 1994. The company aired the live Blackjack Brawl on September 23rd, 1994 on Sports Channel America, which was UWF's last major attempt to secure a major television deal and survive in the professional wrestling industry. The event was held at the MGM Grand Gardner Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Like its other
predecessor,
like Beach Brawl, the event saw very low attendance, just 600 fans, and received negative response from critics and audience for weak quality, weak performed matches, nonsense booking, and weak commentary. And that sounds very awful familiar.
Yeah. The event featured nine championship matches, with 2 vacant championships being decided at the event, and 7 new championships being contested at the event. The event was headlined by a UWF World Heavyweight Championship match between defending champion Steve Williams and Sid Vicious. I'm surprised Sid showed. This would stand as the promotion's final event. The latter show aired live on Sports Channel America, yet was a disaster in both attendance and critical reception. Abrams left for New York City to care for his ailing mother in December of 1984, and wrestler Al Burke was put in charge of the promotion. ESPN2 aired old episodes of Fury Hour and Thunder Hour in 1995, although they were in heavily edited form.
A February 1996 card called the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, I bet it was scheduled to be broadcast live from the Grand Olympic Auditorium on the Prime Sports Network, but was canceled. It would have featured the promised rematch from the Blackjack Brawl between Steve Williams and Sid Vicious in a steel cage match for the UWF World Heavyweight Championship. Zoogs Rift, that's a good name, worked for the company during this time and claimed Abrams, cocaine's addiction drained the company of the money needed to produce such events. Albert claimed ownership of the UWF's tape library following Abrams' death. In 2002, Burke partnered with Tom Okerlund of Classic Wrestling to repackage and license the library through DirecTV and ESPN Classic Canada.
For those of you who have not seen it, Dark Side of the Ring, aired an episode focusing on the promotion titled Cocaine and Cowboy Boots, the Herb Abrams story, in May of 2020. It was the third highest rated episode in the show's history. Abrams died on July 23rd, 1996 at St. Vincent's Hospital in Manhattan, New York, of a heart attack while in police custody. Before his death, police had found Abrams in the Manhattan office, naked and covered in baby oil, destroying furniture with a baseball bat. Abrams' autopsy showed he had cocaine and Valium in his system when he died. Abrams was buried in New Montefiore Cemetery in West Babylon, New York. Abrams' ex-girlfriend said that during the last few years of life, he had experienced paranoia when high on cocaine. Allegedly, Abrams owed various people money and insisted on destroying furniture to find non-existent bugging devices he believed was secretly recording him.
Wow.
Very sad story. I'm thinking, and I don't know, maybe y'all, did he take the money that he was supposed to be getting? Did he take it and just spend it on women and cocaine? Or
that's what it sounds like he did.
Yeah, the Dark Side of the Ring goes into a lot more detail and has another word for the women involved. But but it's very good, and I think it's an hour show that they do, which all of those episodes of Dark Side of the Ring are done very well. I know a lot of the stories behind a lot of those episodes. They're not always 100% accurate, but they're pretty close. But this one is, from everybody that I've ever talked to that worked for him or knew him or whatever, said that the Dark Side of the Ring nailed this 100% with him.
Pretty sad for Herb Abrams. But when you look at some of this stuff, a lot of that seems familiar about what's going on in wrestling today, and a lot of them names are similar to AEW's names that they use today. Yeah. It's very interesting. All right, if you like this video, give us the big thumbs up, subscribe to the page, and go one step further. Hit that notification, hit that notification bell. Yes, ding. I don't know what's going on.
Hit that notification bell.
There you go.
There you go. Well, that's what we meant to do. Folks, this Herb Abrams thing has got me all upset. So anyway, thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video right here on Pro Wrestling Inside and Out.